Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Welcome to this week's edition of the East Tennessee Sports Report, coming to you from Volunteer Chevrolet in Sevierville. They got great looking vehicles. If you would like a brand new truck, brand new Vet, come on by and visit the guys, Gary Helton and Nick Hill here at Volunteer Chevrolet. Well, Scott's back, Chris is back, I'm sitting in for Ralph, and we got Chris Reddick here. And guys, I want to ask you a question. Give me one thing that stood out from the weekend, football-wise.
You go first.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was talking about Morristown East last week. We talked about off air there a little bit. I really thought they had a lot of momentum going. I know Chris last week kind of picked against East on me there a little bit. He did pick it, so props to you, but I thought East should have come out with a little bit more fire. I mean, they're trying to get in the playoffs. I know we talked about how that many wins, but going to the playoffs, you don't want to be losing in the playoffs and having a chance to beat you out and all this stuff that we got going on right now with this new system. But I thought last week Morristown East just kind of dropped the ball a little bit, a little disappointing. So,
Scott?
You know what I'm thinking about, just looking at some of the scores over this past weekend, one thing that stuck out to me, I'm trying to figure out if Knox West is really for real. Mm-hmm. They come out and beat Farragut. Farragut was undefeated on the season, but then they get a 21-20 win over Heritage.
Yes.
And so, I know they've got great tradition there coming off a state championship run last year, but still got my eye on them, seeing how they're going to finish out the season.
Mr. Reddick?
I'm going to mix things up just a little bit, just real quick. I know this is the East Tennessee Sports Report, and I'm going to talk West Tennessee real quick because I got to give props to my brother's former team, Memphis, upsetting Ole Miss. That was a big win, so congratulations to Memphis. If anybody in the West Coast or west side of Tennessee is watching, congratulations.
Well, guys, I want to talk about the Sevier County going up to the Stone Castle. That is a hard place, your neck of the woods, a very hard place to go play up in Bristol. They come out with a great win. But this week, it's a different story. Let's just jump right into things. You got Anderson County, Morristown East, Dobbins Bennett, Jeff County, Greenville, Sullivan Central, Farragut, South Doyle. Pick a game, Scott.
Well, man, I think I'm going to take the Dobbins Bennett Jeff County game. Those are two teams that aren't playing the way they want to right now. I think DB has lost 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. Jeff has lost 2. Two teams with a lot of tradition, but I'm going to go with Dobbins Bennett to win that one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go back with East again since they're on here, but I think that they have to come out this week with a different mindset. If East doesn't come out and play better than they did this past week, I have a feeling Anderson County can sneak up on them, and they don't want to go into the playoffs with this kind of run. So I hope East comes out and gets a better look at the team this week. Maybe eats spaghetti before the game like Sevier County does or something. Maybe they get off the steak or something. But hopefully East come out with a better game this week.
I'm just going to wrap things up in the last two. Greenville over Central, Farragut over South Doyle.
I'm going to go with that Greenville game. I think that's a team right there that's on the verge of just getting better each and every week. Talked to Coach Ballard last week, and he said that their team he's pretty satisfied. I asked him for a grade every week, and he gave his team the highest grade last week was a B+. So I would say Greenville, that's my pick. When we come back here on the East Tennessee Sports Report, we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to have some coaches' interviews. Coach Langenfeld is going to drop by. We're going to actually have a special guest from California. So stay right here on the East Tennessee Sports Report. Coming to you today from Volunteer Chevy.
Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Trusted for over 32 years, our agency has won numerous awards and has served thousands of Tennessee residents. Tammy Francis knows that home health care isn't something you should leave to chance. It is vital that your home health care provider be a reliable and trusted member of the community they serve. That's why Smoky Mountain Home Health and Hospice invests in education and training for their staff. Many have obtained advanced degrees in healthcare. Just another reason to be sure to request our services when your physician recommends home care. We set the standard in the home care industry.
I never thought I'd get into the car business or work with my dad, but some things you just shouldn't pass up, like our carefree car deal with upfront pricing below the factory invoice and our lifetime powertrain warranty. You've just got to get to Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda in Greenville, online at gatewaydeal.com.
Welcome back to Volunteer Chevrolet. Coach Tony Lingenfeld has joined us now. Coach, big win last week up at the Stone Castle. Talk about that win.
Well, it was a tough ball game. Tennessee High has a very good running game. They're more old school, and they try to run a 3-4 yard, at a time at you. Just try to control the football and keep possessions to a minimum. And it was tied at halftime, 14-14, and we came out and got a few touchdowns. Got 3 touchdowns there in the third quarter, and got a lead and made it a lot more comfortable.
Going up there to that place, historic Stone Castle, you had that travel. I know your team has traveled a couple times this year, but that has to be a place that you want to go up there because the fans they're good. They follow their football program really well. How did Sevier County fans? Did they follow you up to Bristol?
Oh yeah, our fans always come and watch us. We travel well. We've got a really good fan base.
Let's assess things. We kind of talked to Devontae, and he talked about how things were. You kind of using him as a decoy now. Is that am I correct, or is it just things that you're taking away from you guys?
Well, people try to take Devontae away from us. We're not using him as a decoy. We'd like to get him the ball as much as we can. We'd like to get it to him at least 15, 20 times a game if we could. But a lot of people play over the top, and they'll be underneath on him and over the top. So sometimes it makes it tough to get him the ball. But we move him around, and he hadn't had a whole lot of touches the last 2 weeks. But that's not by design.
But you have had a player to step up, a player that you thought would come to live. I guess he has, and that's Dorian Banks. He has had 6 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Talk about Dorian's play.
Well, Dorian is the difference maker when they take people out of the box, and we go to the running game. Dorian's a big play guy. All Dorian needs is a small crack, and he can take it all the way with his speed, and he has played well.
Assess the overall play of your football team last Friday.
Well, I thought we played well as a team. I thought we won all 3 phases. I thought our kicking game really played well. We had to punt 4 times in the game, and that's something we don't do a lot of, and we usually put a lot of points on the board, but Connor Ritz and our punt team did an excellent job, flipping the field on them. He averaged about 38 yards a punt, and we also covered well. And defensively, even though we gave up a lot of yards, we played really well in the second half, and we really started playing our responsibilities instead of looking for the ball, because they've done a lot of misdirection in there, and we didn't play that well up front. But the second half, I thought we played really well, to get them to make them punt. And I was also proud of our offensive team for not being conservative.
Right.
When you play a team that tries to limit your possessions, sometimes you get conservative, and because you don't know when you might get the ball back.
Okay.
But we kept running our offense, and didn't have as many yards. We only had 41 plays.
Okay.
And but that was because of the design by them. They did a good job keeping the ball away from us and getting some yards on the ground.
Let's switch gears to talk about Morristown West. This is the game that both teams have been looking forward to pretty much all season long. You knew it was going to come down to against Morristown West this Thursday night. Let's talk about the Trojans. What do they bring, and what will you have to do to win this game?
Well, we were hoping we'd be where we are, and that was one of our goals to be playing for a championship in this last week of the season, and for us. And Morristown West, that's a team we have a lot of respect for. Have a lot of respect for their coach and their coaching staff, and they're just a solid football team. They've got 8 starters back on defense, and they're without a doubt the best defense we've seen. And they're also very good on offense. They've got some weapons with their tailback and Calvin, that receiver. They're a good football team, and they also are solid in the kicking game.
So let me ask you, would it probably safe to say they probably are the best team you faced all year?
No, I would say that. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
What does Sevier County have to do in all phases of the game? You say win the kicking game, win the offense and defense, but I want to hear it from Coach.
Well, we've got to be efficient on offense. We've got to be efficient on first down. We can't afford to be in second and long and third and long against a good defense. We've got to get some yards, 4 and 5 yards on first down to where we're at least that, so we're not, trying to, convert on third and long. I mean, that's hard to do anytime, especially against a good defense. Defensively, we've got to tackle well. We've got to limit the big plays and just tackle well. And, of course, the kicking game, we've just got to do our job there and not let anything bad happen. Just when we do have to punt, we need to be efficient at it and limit their yards on returns on the other part of the kicking game.
Let me ask you this. Having Doring back and the way he is playing, 6 touchdowns in the last 2 games, does that take the pressure off your quarterback, Deuce?
Well, I think it helps. We've been in years past when we would get 5 defenders in the box, and like Maryville last year and the year before, where they would defend us with 5 people in the box and we couldn't run the football.
Right.
And that's people are they're going to try to stop our passing game, but Dorian adds another dimension there with his ability to take it all the way. And he's also very good at just getting what's there, getting those 3 and 4 yards of carry. He's a big plus for our team.
Big game this Thursday night. Remember that. It's Thursday night. It's Sevier County's last game of the season, regular season. They will make it into the playoffs. But Morristown West comes to town Thursday night. It will be for the region championship, so make sure you get out. It should be a big, big game between 2 big-time football teams. We'll be right back.
Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Advantage of great deals like this new Ford Focus.
Or this new Ford Fiesta.
Your choice.
For as low as $199 a month. And don't forget about the great deals on the new Ford Fusion for as low as $249 a month.
Right in the heart of Morristown.
Welcome back to the East Tennessee Sports Report. And I have now on the phone from California the person who usually hosts this show for the Knoxville area, Mr. Ralph Miranda. Ralph, how's California?
Oh, California's great, Roddy. I tell you, it's warm and beautiful out here, but I miss East Tennessee, and I miss you guys back there at the East Tennessee Sports Report, so I can't wait to get home.
Well, we miss you, but you don't want to come back right now when I had frost on my windshield this morning.
Well, you have to take your medicine, good weather and bad weather, all at the same time, I guess.
That is true. Ralph, you went out to California to see Nathan play. Let's talk about the team he plays for and how they do Saturday.
Well, Nathan plays for Occidental College. Occidental plays in the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. It's a Division III conference with the likes of Occidental, where Nathan's at, Redlands, Cal Lutheran, Whittier, Chapman University, Claremont, Mudscripts, Pomona, Pitzer. These are all teams within about an hour of each other here in the Southern California area. And I'll tell you, it's great football. I mean, it's really not Division III. It is by name, but these players are Division II, maybe even 1AA. It's pretty competitive football.
Okay. How did they do this past weekend? I know you said they were playing a pretty good team that has won the conference.
Yes, they did, and they won. They came back from a pretty big deficit and won the game 35-27. It was their homecoming, so it was a good night for Occidental. They're 3-2 overall, 2-1 now in the conference. So they've got an excellent shot at winning this thing if they can take care of business from here on out.
How was Nathan's game? How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's doing well. He's getting used to a new environment. Even though he was here 3 years ago, getting used to new coaching staff and new defensive scheme. But it takes some time. But I think he's happy. That's the main thing.
Ralph, let me ask you this question. You hit on it just a minute ago about these players, are they playing the Division III? But you say they're the caliber of 1AA. What's the difference in the football on the West Coast than it is here in East Tennessee and around this East Coast?
Well, I can tell you, like I said, this Division III conference that Nathan plays in, if they, and no offense to some of the schools around there, but if they played Emory and Henry, Maryville College, those type of Division III teams, I really believe these Southern California teams would win fairly easily. I mean, that's how good the talent is in this area in that conference. Let me say this, though. I think high school football is nowhere near, at least in the Southern California area that I've seen, as good as the high school football is in East Tennessee. I think, without a doubt, high school football is bigger in the South than it is in any other part of the country. You still find some good teams here and there. You definitely find some great athletes. But as far as concentrated athletes, I think more of them are in the South.
You know, and speaking of that, there's some big games coming up this week, especially the Morristown West Sevier County game. I know you're out there, but how do you see that game, Ralph?
Well, you know, that's going to be an interesting game. Morristown West with a big win over Daniel Boone last week. Sevier County got a big win over Tennessee High. So that's obviously the showdown game. And I'll tell you, you know, with Knox West only beating Heritage by 1 point, I really believe that the classification 5A is completely wide open. So I think that the winner of this game Friday night, Morristown West and Sevier, obviously will win the region. We'll host a couple of playoff games. And I think we'll have the inside track to maybe get into the state championship in 5A. I think Morristown West is going to win it, and the reason I do is I think they've been more consistent. You know, I mean, Sevier County is got talent, but they're just not consistent, and you have to be consistent when you get into this point of the season, and I just think Morristown West is a little bit more so.
All right, Mr. Ralph Miranda, he's on the West Coast. Went out to see his son play this past weekend. He will be back next week right here on the East Tennessee Sports Report. Ralph, you take care of yourself and tell Nathan we miss him too.
I will do that. You all take care of yourselves as well.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
From 1989, Tomo has been one of the first sushi restaurants in Knoxville.
I love it. This is one of my favorite restaurants in Knoxville.
We have carried on with an age-old tradition atmosphere and menu, including the Japanese bento box.
Food is outstanding.
Tomo is open for lunch and dinner and extra late for all you late-night sushi lovers, Friday and Saturday nights.
I love the sushi. It's always really fresh.
Tomo even offers half-price sushi on Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. Tomo, neighborhood price and friendly service on West Hill Crossing Plaza.
Welcome back to the East Tennessee Sports Report, coming to you from Volunteer Chevrolet right here in the heart of Sevierville, Tennessee. I'd like to thank our other sponsors that make this show possible. That's Crescent Center Drugs in Morristown, Morristown Ford over in Morristown, and Smoky Mountain Home Health and Hospitals with 7 locations across East Tennessee, Greenville, Gateway Ford out of Greenville, and Mullins Chrysler Jeep Ram up in Elizabethton. Guys, I want to talk quickly about something. Alcoa Red Bank, we both know, Alcoa. And Scott, you hit on 3 and 5 Red Bank, but what do you think about that?
Well, I just think, honestly, Alcoa is going to be Alcoa.
Right.
I think they're just going to have too many athletes across the field. I believe they're playing that one at Red Bank.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a road game for them. So, Red Bank's got that going. But other than that, I think Alcoa is going to roll. You know, Alcoa's had a great year, and it was the only team yet that has even come close to beating Maryville. And so I think they're really in a league all on their own.
Yes. You, Alcoa Maryville, Alcoa Red Bank.
Well, how you tied in that Maryville Alcoa, I agree with Scott. Hey, when you got a team like Alcoa, that's my number 2 pick in this area, playing a tough game against Maryville, giving them a tough competition, which I don't believe Maryville's seen any real tough competition until that game. You know, I don't even care what Red Bank's record is. I think Alcoa is going to take care of business in this game.
Well, hold on one second. Alcoa played with that little storm game with Maryville, so you got to forget that.
Yes,
Go back to that.
You're
So
right.
they had a little break in between that, but Alcoa is still really good. They can run the football, have a really good defense, and I think Red Bank will be a tough component, but Alcoa is going to be too tough at the end, and I think little play action, a little over the top. We'll run the ball up the middle. I think Alcoa's got that, so I think it'll be good.
And I'm going to unveil the top 10, yourhighschoolsports.com top 10 right quick. Maryville number 1, Alcoa's 2, Fulton's 3, Morristown West is 4, Science Hill 5, Oak Ridge is 6, Knox West is 7, Elizabethton is 8, Greenville is 9th, and Knox Farragut rounds out our top 10. If you want to see more of your high school polls, go to yourhighschoolsports.com. The AP poll is on there, as well as yourhighschoolsports.com. All right, guys, a huge game coming up between Knox West and Fulton. You know, both teams are good. Scott hit on something earlier about Knox West being defending state champs, but Fulton is defending state champs too. Chris, I'll let you start this off.
Oh, my gosh. You just set it up so nice. 2 defending state champions battling and put it all on the field. This is going to be a great game. You know, I'm going to probably go a little edge. Golly. I wanted to easily say Fulton. And I think I may still easily say Fulton. The reason why I had a last-minute decision on that because Fulton has that young quarterback. But you know what? I don't think it really matters. The Fulton team I think they're back on track, and I'm going to give this, not a big win, but I'm going to give the edge to Fulton.
Scott?
You know, young quarterback, but we're at week 8 or 9, so I mean, he's a veteran now.
Yeah.
You know, I think Fulton wins this game. You know, once again, I think West has had a big win and squeaked by last week, and I think Fulton's continue to do it week in and week out. And man, are we not blessed to be in East Tennessee?
Oh, man,
we got not just 2, but 3 or 4 or 5 state champions. So we got great high school football here in East Tennessee. But with this battle, these 2 great teams, I'm going to go with Fulton.
Well, Fulton's playing at home, right? So you got 2 teams that are playing good. You get the home crowd on your side a little bit. You might have a quarterback that's young, but like Scott said, I mean, you got somebody that's a veteran now. He's got more on it, but I still think young quarterback still getting to these big games like this. He's probably never played in a game like this yet either, this caliber. I think Knox West gives him a run. I'm going to take Fulton too, but I think Knox West will be right there.
I'm going to also take Fulton. The game, guys, that could say a lot in that 6A classification is Maryville versus Bradley Central. I'm going to kick it off with you, Scott. Maryville's Bradley Central.
You know, Maryville is Maryville. I took some notes. Maryville's averaging 43 points a game and giving up 10. You know, so I think it's Maryville. I think Maryville goes. Bradley Central's had a great year. They're sitting at 6-2. They have some quality wins, but I think Maryville's still Maryville until somebody beats them. I'm going to stay with Maryville.
Well, we said it all week. Maryville's Maryville. I mean, they're going to come out. I'm definitely taking Maryville, but I cannot say enough about Bradley Central and some of the past 2 wins they've had. I even went with them last week and against them the week before, and now. but I think coming into this game, you couldn't be in a better spot to play Maryville, though.
Yes, you're right.
You're coming to the end of the year. I'm sure Maryville's still going to be Maryville, but they're coming to the end of the year. It's at the end of the road. I think Bradley Central is going to be a test. I don't think they're going to be, you know, blowing them out or anything crazy like that. But I think Bradley Central definitely going to have a lot better showing than people think. So,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Bradley Central. This team is an interesting team. I want to first start off the quarterback, Copeland. I actually played a year with his dad at ETSU. This kid is on fire, guys. I mean, he's throwing up some big, heavy numbers. I mean, I think some schools are starting to look at him. We've even had couple of coaches mentioned this, you know, that's kind of the best quarterback they've seen. With that said, guys, you're going up against a beast like Maryville. I mean, my goodness. But I think Bradley Central, if they can, it's a mind thing. You know, I'm the philosopher. If they can just wipe out the whole Maryville, you know, mystique and just play football and remind themselves, hey, they're a high school team just like them. Central could come out with the win. But I'm going to have to go Maryville.
We've heard it all from all three, and I'm going to hold my opinion. We'll be right back here on the East Tennessee Sports Report right after this.
Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. Here we go now. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Gotta get to Gateway.
Get Greene County's only lifetime warranty on these incredible Gateway deals. Late model Ford Rangers, Nissan Frontiers, and Tacomas starting at just $11,900. Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda in Greenville online at gatewaydeal.com.
Bradley Bear, hope for lightning.
Let's do it. Let's just
You
run
can
it.
say-
Let's run it. Let's run
You
it.
can say they're a high school team just like us with 15 state championships.
You got banners.
Other than
You
that,
walk
we're
in-
just like them.
You got banners all over the place saying state champion.
How many
We're ranked in the
They won?
nation.
Gotta get to Gateway.
Get Greene County's only lifetime warranty on these incredible Gateway deals. Late model crossovers like Ford Escapes, GMC Terrains, Jeeps, and Honda CRVs from only $12,900. Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda in Greenville online at gatewaydeal.com.
Welcome back to the East Tennessee Sports Report, coming to you from Volunteer Chevrolet this evening. Scott, I want to talk to you because you've been in this week. This is Bama week. How do you prepare yourself to go down to Tuscaloosa?
Well, man, it's a huge game. Obviously, my first start was actually against Alabama, my sophomore year, my first start, and but honestly, it's still a football game. You're playing against a great team, great tradition, obviously, but you just go to work. You go to work. You know, even though when I was there, they played Alabama's fight song every day, all day in our locker room, in the weight room, on the practice field. So you got to where you just hated it.
Right.
And so as a defensive player, I want to do anything I could to keep them from scoring so they wouldn't play that stinking song.
Right.
But you just go in and you prepare like you always do and go out and play. You know, I think Tennessee's, golly, we're so close to being undefeated. You know,
We are,
but
man.
so close. Close doesn't count except hand grenades and horseshoes. Right?
Exactly.
But I think we've got the talent. Do we have enough talent to pull this game out? I'm not sure, but I think we can play it close. We can keep it close. We manage it well at the end. I think we can pull out a big win, and that would be a huge win for Coach Jones and the entire state of Tennessee and our team's overall confidence.
Oh, yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think Tennessee is so close, but also, too, this week, Dobbs, they have to put him in positions to be successful, have to do what you talked about weeks before, let him be Joshua Dobbs.
Right.
So hopefully we see that, but also I hope, too, that we have players come with the mentality that, you know, it could be me today. I can make the big play to beat Alabama today, and I'm prepared for that.
Don't wait for somebody else to
just
make
don't
a
wait
play.
around for
Right,
this.
right.
Let's make big plays. The past couple of weeks when we lost those games, the big plays weren't there, or we gave up a big play. But guess what? We're playing Alabama. We're going to give up a big play. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's hopefully come back from that, mentally come back from it, and be able to play. We played good on the road. We beat South Carolina a couple of years ago, and went to overtime with them, or at least it was last year. They're coming here this year. I mean, we got a lot of games coming on the road. We beat Alabama and come into this. A lot of good success could
A
come
lot of
from
good
that.
things happening. Chris.
You know, I was getting ready to write off UT until that great, awesome win against Georgia. I think that was a key to maybe turn this program around. Great confidence builder. And I think it came at a right time because they actually get to take a week off to prepare for a team like Alabama. So with that being said, I'm going to keep it short. Roll Tide? No way. UT, baby.
Scott, you were talking something about off camera there about a movie you saw this week.
Yes.
Talk about that a
For
little
all
bit.
you football fans out there, man, there's a great movie called Woodlawn, based on Woodlawn High School in Alabama in the 60s, early 70s, talking about segregation but it's a school, have a great player and a kid named Tony Nathan, touchdown Tony, goes on to play at the University of Alabama, plays in the NFL for Miami Dolphins, but it's a story around him and his team and what they overcome and really how God worked through some men and his coaches to just transform not only the school but the town that they played in. And so if you like Remember the Titans, you'll love Woodlawn. If you get a chance, check it out.